Ladies and gentlemen, my darling's distractions.
Life finds a way.
Here we go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to my darling's distractions.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, my name is Luke, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely wife, Deb.
Hello.
Deb, I'm going to turn so I can actually see you.
That's always a good thing to do.
Yeah. You probably just heard our new intro.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Yeah, so that's I tried my hand at a little bit of mixing, and so yeah, we have to say thank you to Jeeves for the very kind introduction there in the audio.
Yeah, that was really fun. I thought it was a computer recording, but it turns out it's a real guy.
No, that is an actual Britishman that we have hired to read that line. It's not as elaborate as it sounds, but he did take my money to read that line.
Yeah. And he read it in lots of different ways, so maybe we'll share those with you sometime.
Maybe so. Anyway, thank you to Jeeves for that introduction.
What's his real name?
I don't think I should put him on blast in the podcast. But
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So we are going to do something we've done a few times before, but we are going to take a break from kind of our normal format of a topic and quizzing and talking about that topic to hear from you, our listeners.
Thanks for calling in. Thanks for your messages. I think we're really going to enjoy hearing from you today.
Yes, and this is just also a good reminder for me to say, hey, thank you for everybody who listens.
Yeah.
Like we've said before, we would probably put this out into the void just as a exercise and couples therapy, but it's also really fun to have friends and family and other folk who listen. So thank you very much for listening.
And who interact with us.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, when we first started out, we thought, oh, we'll just do this. And we've now done it for like a year and a couple of months. And it's been going well. And we've got a bunch of voicemails to listen to.
I can't wait.
So one thing I've been thinking about is what are fans, I don't like using the word fans, what the people who listen to this show and would identify as fans of the show, what they would call themselves. I think early on, I tried calling I tried calling people darlings. And like I would introduce people as darlings, but I think it's come around that everybody's revolted against that nomenclature and has moved towards distractors.
Well, yeah. I mean, I still think it's okay for someone who is like on the show and we're quizzing them to call them a darling.
They're a darling.
I think that's cool. But was it Miles from Sioux Falls that first coined the term distractor?
Might have been.
I think it was. And so I think we have him to thank for that, and I really like it.
Yeah, and I've heard a couple other people use that.
Yeah, I use it.
So that being said, we've got a few voicemails from a few of our distractors out there who wanted to call in. Remember, you too can call in and leave us a voicemail. We kind of let them pile up for a little bit, but we do get to a point and we do listen to all of them. Yep. And a lot of them get to go on the air. So if
like all of them, don't
they?
There's
some I saved because some I saved because we get a lot of ideas for shows, and I want to keep those and save them for.
Well, and also I was going to say we did not play all 10 of Adam's requests to do Disney quizzing.
I will say, just to kind of identify how many times he called, I am going to play one of his messages.
Okay.
That was in my plan, so.
Nice.
Yes. So if you are a distractor and you'd like to call and leave us a voicemail with a question, comment, or correction, you can call in to 61 Air 0 Volt. And I don't know the number, but
we used to say the number too,
I know,
but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Just look it up on your number pad on your phone. I think it's pretty
61 air 0 volt.
Or something else I recently discovered is if you want to call us, you can go to our Facebook page. We have a My Darlings Distractions Facebook page, and I put a call now button right on there. So if you just pull it up in Facebook, there should be a big button that just says call now. And it just calls.
Well, that's handy. We're also on Instagram sparsely.
Yeah.
And Twitter sparsely.
Oh, I would. Yeah, sure. Twitter, all it does in Twitter is it just repeats the things I post to Facebook.
Good. Kudos to you for setting that up, because sometimes I get a Twitter alert that My Darlings Distractions said something, and I was like, what? Every time it surprises me.
No, when it's just one that's automated. But
and then we also have a website which has all of our episodes.
Yes, yeah. So if you want to get that, or if you want to get links to subscribe through any of the subscription services of your preference, you can just go to mydarlingsdistractions.net.
Yes.
All right, so let's jump in here with our first voicemail. Deborah, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Holly from South Dakota. I'm calling after listening to your Halloween special, and your guest talked about being afraid of a tornado that happens in the middle of the night. And Deb, you mentioned that just happened in Texas, but it actually just happened in Sioux Falls, South Dakota in September 2019. There were 3 tornadoes in the middle of the night, and worst case scenario, not all of the tornado sirens went off like they were supposed to. They didn't all get triggered, and not everybody's phones got the warning message that was supposed to be an alert. And so I woke up it was like 11:29, and I woke up because it was just, the wind was so loud outside. And I looked at my phone, and my weather app had said that there was a tornado touchdown in the area. But I didn't have the National Weather Service alert, and I didn't hear any sirens. But we had the baby sleeping next to me in the bassinet right by a window, and I thought, gosh, that seems dangerous if the winds are this bad. So brought him downstairs and got the other kids, and we just kind of settled down for the night downstairs. But in the aftermath, there were definitely stories of people who woke up in the middle of the night to their roof being torn off of their house, or their windows like shaking and vibrating because of the change in pressure in their house. And it was just kind of a really eerie day. The next day there was a late start for school because there was so much damage that people couldn't travel. They needed to give time for cleanup crews and stuff. So a little bit too close to home, and exactly what your guest was talking about as being his biggest fear. We went through it. Luckily, we didn't have any damage or anything, but there were definitely people in Sioux Falls who did. Okay, that's it. Bye. Love you.
Love you too, Holly. Oh, but that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, and so to reference back, that was friend of the show Mike mentioned that is his real life fear.
Yeah.
Is that idea of the storm in the middle of the night, because he did not grow up with it, but it's a real thing.
Yes, obviously it happens, and that instance in September, I do remember that. Now that she says that, I didn't remember it then. But I remember Miles and Holly telling us that the alerts did not go off. And there was, I think Miles had a really great dad moment in there, like tongue-in-cheek, maybe not his finest hour.
Did he just sleep through it or something?
I can't remember what it was now, but something having to do with his daughter and...
Did he just tell her to go back to bed?
Good dad moment. Yeah, I could be totally wrong,
I
but
also don't remember.
I feel like that happened. He can call in and let us know. Yeah. But that's frightening.
Yeah, we had something kind of similar, but it wasn't during the middle of the night. We were coming home once during a storm, and it was the sort of thing where they didn't call it a tornado, they called it straight line winds.
Yeah.
And so we were driving into our hometown, and we were coming down over the hill where we could see into our town, and you could see the wind was pushing a wall of water, basically, just this huge blast of wind, and you could see as it was passing through the town where we were up in our car, we could look into town and just watching transformers on these electrical poles explode as it pushed its way through town. We were also, I think, had a very young child at the time, I think less than a year or maybe just a year or something like that.
A baby, yeah, and we were trying to get home quick as we could.
Right, and so we quickly pulled into our detached garage and jumped out, ran to the house with the baby in the car seat, and
Just
then
getting pelted with rain.
Yeah, and then I think we just went straight downstairs. And it was just now where we live, the gentleman just up the street from us, that was the storm where it ripped his roof completely off. So he had no roof during that. The wind just grabbed it and pulled it straight off, so he could just look straight up into the sky. He was down in his stairwell. But yeah, if you live in the Midwest, that's a very real fear. More real than even being stabbed by an alien.
Yeah. Was that a alien reference?
I mean, that was just my fear. That was my fear growing
I
up,
thought
was
you
being
were
stabbed by an alien.
Oh, that's right. I thought you were setting up the next phone call.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, who's calling in to talk about that?
Nope, that's
okay.
That's
yeah,
just
you're
me.
right, Luke. I don't fear that often at all.
Yeah. You haven't watched enough scary movies. Anyway, thank you, Holly, and thank you for sharing that. I don't know, traumatic, but I'm glad it turned out okay. The only thing that I can't really relate to in that story is where she said that they got no alerts, because I feel like we get more than enough alerts. Like we have in our room, we have where we sleep like 3 phones,
right?
And I'm a super light sleeper, and I remember there was a period of time where there kept being all these Amber Alerts, the child missing alerts, and those would come through at like 3 a.m. and then we'd have like 3 phones just doing that crazy alert sound.
Yeah, or like if there's a school delay school, I don't like we get multiple text messages, phone calls.
Right, the school will text us, and then we get voicemails, and No, I hear them all.
Yeah, you do.
Every
You're a light
one.
sleeper.
Yeah.
Thanks, Holly.
Okay. All right. Next voicemail.
Hi, Deb and Luke. Hi, my darling distractions. This is Paige from California. And I wanted to tell you that my husband and I really enjoyed listening to the episode about soundtracks, movie soundtracks. That was a really fun episode. We liked playing along and playing the trivia game along with you. I'm really surprised that nobody mentioned that many of those scores were done by John Williams, and that's why they are so iconic, because during those decades of the 80s and 90s, he had so many iconic soundtracks. And also, I think it's cool to make a distinction between an original written score and also movies that just have great compilations of songs. Forrest Gump it has a great original score, but it also has amazing just music, a playlist from known songs that exist. Anyway, it was a great episode. And I also want to say thank you for your podcast. My husband and I just think it's so fun, and we actually were inspired to quiz each other about something that we both consider ourselves experts in. So he quizzed me on The Lion King, and I quizzed him on the Denver Broncos. And it was just a really fun time to be together and chat together. So thanks for all that you do. Bye.
Okay, obviously, I don't get a chance to talk to my sister enough because I did not recognize her voice when she first started talking.
Yeah, Deb's face as she looked over at me, and she's like, "Who?" Just gave me this very
puzzled.
Yeah, very puzzled look as the voice starts. So
sorry, Paige.
Sister of the show, Paige.
We've gotten more calls and comments about that episode.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot.
Maybe not more than anything else, thanks to Adam, but.
A lot though.
Yeah, a lot. So that was a home run topic there.
Sure.
And we could do it again for sure. And especially since, the distinction between original score and compilation soundtrack, that could be its own topic too.
We could do a soundtrack of the aughts. Am I right? Yeah. Think about the movies that came out
I see.
In double aught or aught 1, aught 2.
Okay, yeah. We're in 2020 now, so... Yeah,
that's right. You have 20 more years of cinema that we could go back and pull on that stuff. So that being said, this Paige, thank you very much for pointing out the idea that the reason a lot of these are iconic is they were composed and directed, a lot of those by John Williams.
Composed and conducted. Not directed. That's the word.
Composed and conducted. I think a lot of those were by John Williams. But that being said, I was just reminded of how good John Williams is. We went and we saw The Rise of Skywalker this last week, which, spoiler for me, it doesn't take very much for me to enjoy a Star Wars movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he also had to do overtime because he was pulling every theme that you've ever heard in a Star Wars movie and trying to jam pack them into this one film.
I think that was one of our comments, is that I think we heard every theme ever in that episode. And then someone said something like, maybe not the
Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I think there was a little Duel of the Fates in there somewhere. Okay. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure he was working overtime to be like, all right, I've got 20 different like themes that play out through the soundtrack, and so I need to find a way to put them in this one movie. And it was a jam-packed soundtrack. I'd like to buy that and listen to it just because,
the soundtrack for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Also, since we're talking about Star Wars, I'm going to just say that, do you remember when Mandy and I faced off with who had yielded a lightsaber in any episode ever?
Yes. So, spoilers for The Rise of Skywalker. We should say that before we continue.
Okay.
Spoiler for The Rise of Skywalker's, not heavy spoilers, but a light spoiler. We will be talking about some components of that show. So, if you don't want to hear anything about The Rise of Skywalker, maybe skip forward maybe a minute or two.
Sure, yes. Anyway, I will just say I said that Leia yielded a lightsaber, and it was wrong at the time, but it's correct now. So I don't know, like maybe I won that face-off.
Yes. So Deb is referencing back to our Disney episode just a few episodes ago where she did have a face-off, and you had answered. The question was, who has wielded a lightsaber? Yeah.
Is it wielded or yielded? I keep saying yielded. That's okay. So it's wielded. Who wielded a lightsaber?
Right. And
I said Leia, and I was wrong, but not anymore.
You were wrong at the time, but right now. So yes, we do see that Leia, in fact, has her own lightsaber. So
yeah.
Anyway,
great movie, but we won't spoil it anymore.
That's all we're going to talk about it.
We're done. If you're just joining us.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you very much, Paige. And I'm glad that you and your husband enjoyed kind of doing this thing that we do for some reason on mic, doing it off mic like normal people. So good for you.
Yeah, what a fun activity to do. And she probably saw, like we do, that it just brings you closer together.
Yeah.
It's really fun to do.
Mm-hmm. And I cannot think of a quiz that I would probably do worse at than the Denver Broncos.
Oh.
I mean,
Good job, Patrick. I would have no idea.
Yeah. This is what I can tell you.
Like Tim Tebow, right?
I was just going to say.
Peyton Manning,
Tim Tebow, and, what's the big one?
I have no idea.
No, it's not a Troy. It's, oh dear. Who's the big Denver Bronco?
Like now?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No, not now. He was the quarterback for a kind of a long period of time, and he was a super big deal.
Patrick,
oh boy,
we need your help.
I'm sorry, Patrick. There's a famous one. He commentates now. Wow, do I look just like the biggest idiot in the world.
We already said you wouldn't do well at it.
I'm not a sportsman.
Nope. I mean, you like football. You
I like
play
watching
football.
it. I like to play sports. I like to watch sports, but I just don't follow sports.
Like it's New Year's Day today.
Troy Aikman?
He was the Cowboys. I do know
Denver Broncos quarterback.
I mean, probably everybody knows.
No, it's not. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, it's the New Year's Day today, and I asked Luke if he wanted to turn on the TV and watch some football, and his answer was no.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Patrick will call in and tell us the name of that quarterback.
If you want to talk about like major corrections.
Yep.
Elway?
No, John Elway was not, I think he was...
Denver Broncos, John Elway?
No, I think he was also Cowboys.
I feel like I might have got it.
Or was he 49ers?
No, that's Joe Montana.
Okay.
This should be the quiz. You guys give us the biggest, most obvious name of a player and who he played
Quarterbacks for the NFL.
Running backs.
And just quiz the both of us and we would do horribly.
Oh, man. I think it's John Elway, now that I'm thinking about it.
I don't know about
Joe
that.
Montana was 49ers, John Elway. Peyton,
woof. I don't know.
Bad. No. Well, okay, whatever. All right, Deb. Let's let's quickly leave that topic behind and listen to another little voicemail here.
Adam, Disney, bad review.
All right.
What? Adam, Disney. Oh, bad review.
Yeah, that was like literally one of 10 voicemails we received before we did the Disney episode.
Oh, he got more succinct, didn't he?
He did, yeah. That was towards the end where, he had called so many times and he had talked so much about how important the episode was.
Here's the question, though. Has he called back since we did it?
No.
Adam!
I don't know if we've gotten our bad review or a good review. I really don't know.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was fun. Okay, jumping in. Next voicemail.
Hello, my name is Benji, and I wanted to thank you for your podcast because I started a podcast several months ago thinking, hey, this will be cool, I'll do this every week, and then got really busy and didn't do it every week. And so listening to your podcast made me want to start my podcast again. So thank you for having such fun, relatable, quality material on your podcast so that I can find the inspiration to continue my podcast. If you would like to listen to my podcast, it is called Completely Off Topic Today's Endless Ramblings, or COTTER for short. Okay, cool. Yep, thanks, bye.
That's my friend Benji.
Yes, thank you, Benji. That's
awesome to hear from him, and awesome that he has started listening. I have to tell you the story of how this started.
Oh, okay.
Benji started working at the school that I work at just this year, and I heard he was coming on. Benji, full disclosure, I Facebook looked you up.
It's called Facebook stalking.
Is it? No, man, because I just looked him up. That's all that happened.
Did you look at any photos that weren't his current profile picture?
Oh,
okay, there it is.
Yeah, maybe I did.
The pause says it all.
Because I saw that we had a mutual friend, Jeff is his name, and I was like, whoa, okay. How old is Benji? I was really... So,
this is 100% Facebook stalking. I wonder how old he is. I don't know. When's the last time he ate at Panera?
Telling exactly what happened. And so then I figured out he might be the same age as a kid that was in the very first class I ever taught, fourth grade. And so I was like, maybe he's the same age. And then for some reason... a picture came up of Benji. Did you go to Haiti? I think you went to Haiti.
Well, this is really going deep, Deb. This is textbook stalking.
With some people that I know. So that's how that started. So then I was like, well, I must be friends.
How many pictures did you look at, Deb?
Maybe 2.
Oh.
I'm serious. Right. I had no reason to look at any others.
All right.
And
if you got deep enough to see that he had been to Haiti, I mean, come on.
No, I'm serious.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna let you go any further.
Okay, I'm done.
And so then I was like, well, I need to be his friend. So that is always fun to discover that there's someone that you're working with that is a kind soul. So I don't know. I think we were just in the copy room one time, and I was like, I do a podcast.
You just said that out of nowhere?
No, we were talking about something, and I was like,
the room is dead silent, and Deb looks over and just says, I do a podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. We were talking about something. I do a podcast, and I was like, yeah, you should listen. And I told him what it was, and he's listening. Thanks, Benji.
Yes.
I did know that he was listening because he... well, can I tell you another story?
Sure.
There was one morning at school that we had probably like 15 distractions in our day before 9:30 a.m. And I think we were on like number 7. There was like a pep rally.
Oh, man.
So he was climbing the steps, and he said something to the effect of distraction number 3 or something like that. And I heard the word distraction, and I thought he was going to talk to me about the podcast. And so I talked to him about it later, and I was like, I thought you were going to talk to me about the podcast. And so I knew he was listening because then we talked about it.
Yes.
What great stories I just shared. Those were really fun.
Just top notch, Deb.
Those were great.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, Benji. And I have a new nickname for our newest listener.
Oh.
Would you like to hear it?
I guess I'm kind of just being drug along through this, whatever this is happening right now.
I've been sitting on it for a long time.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready for it.
Okay, Benji's new nickname for the podcast is Ben Kingsley.
What does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything to me.
It doesn't?
No, who's Ben Kingsley?
Okay, isn't Ben Kingsley an actor?
Oh, Deb, oh dear. I don't know anything. This is...
We can cut this out if it doesn't make sense.
Okay, well...
I'm going to look it up right now.
But why Ben Kingsley? You can't just say, because that's also an actor's name, and they're also named Ben.
Okay, you don't get it?
No. Explain it.
Ben is short for Benji.
Yes, I'm okay. You've got me there.
And, Ben Kingsley. Benji gets it, doesn't he? Yeah, Benji gets it.
Okay.
He lives in Kingsley.
Okay.
So his name is Ben Kingsley.
Okay. That's a pretty good nickname, Deb.
It is.
Oh,
it's
okay.
clever.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm sure it is. It just didn't land with me.
Oh, because you didn't know who Ben Kingsley was.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, that name doesn't mean anything to me.
Do I have your permission to use it though?
Are
you going to like put a stamp of approval on it and use it also?
Yes, I will. Every time I mention Benji, I will mention him as Ben Kingsley.
I think it's very clever.
Okay.
Wow, I was sitting on that for a long time and was really excited about it.
Sure. Okay. No, it's good. Very good, Deb.
Okay, thanks.
I will say, we should say, yes, I just finished listening to his most recent episode of his podcast. So if you want to check that out, go over to Spotify. There's lots of places to find it. He's on Anchor. But also if you just go over to Spotify and search for I think actually the best way to do is go over to Spotify and look for Completely Off Topic, Today's Endless Ramblings.
Yeah, we just listened to his most recent episode called I'm Back and had some fun things to say about our podcast and also about a lot of things, but Lost. He talked about Lost a little bit.
Also, the thing that perked my interest, one of the things that perked my interest the most was him talking about his puppeteering.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day about how I really enjoy a good puppeteer. And I just read an article just maybe yesterday that talked about how, spoilers for The Mandalorian, how the existence of the child in The Mandalorian and also the release of the Dark Crystal TV series on Netflix.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Anyway, how both of those are great examples of how we still need good puppeteers in the age of CGI, because puppets age so much better than CGI does.
Yeah.
And I can say that with confidence, having just watched through the original trilogy and the prequels of Star Wars and saying, hey, puppets, they can still hang. CGI, it ages so quickly.
Yeah. Benji said he was a really good puppeteer. So I'm like, well, that'd be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. And sorry that this segment here got so rambulatory. Sorry, Ben Kingsley.
Thank you, Ben Kingsley, for...
Yeah, you said it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's jump into another voicemail here.
Hey, Deb and Luke, this is Matt with a comment. This comment is about the episode with Liz as the moderator, which I really enjoyed. But, Luke, I just had to let you know that I got the biggest kick out of you struggling to come up with The Sixth Sense as an answer, because I think it might be the only M. Night Shyamalan movie that I know. I think, or maybe one more. And it's the only answer I could have given to any of that question. And I was laughing pretty hard while you were waiting to come up with it. While you came up with all these other obscure answers. That was great, brother. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That was great. I agree.
Man.
I loved it.
I feel like I said every other movie of his.
You didn't. I think you were like making up
No.
movies.
Okay, so to clear my name, There is a movie called Devil, Devil, which I thought was called Elevator.
Oh, okay.
And it's just called Devil, but the V is the down button on an elevator. That's why I thought it was. And it was his first R-rated movie.
Oh, okay.
And it was, yeah.
Well, I don't know that one at all, but yeah, when you broke out Elevator, we were both like, what?
Yeah, it's called Devil.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny that you said that, Matt, because I thought that was great.
Man. And and that was one of the things where we could have edited that down a little bit.
But I wasn't going to let you.
Yeah, Deb didn't let me, so we sat there for whatever that was, 5 minutes as I go through every single movie except for his completely most well-known movie.
Oh,
so.
it was great.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I enjoyed that episode too.
Yeah, and actually, I should say we get a couple of comments from some other listeners. I know that a friend of the show, Deborah, also mentioned that Liz is possibly, her interests must intersect a lot with friend of the show, Deborah, because she said that it was one of the shows I think that she latched on to the most because it just made a lot of they had a lot of similar interests. So.
Yeah, and I think Deborah also said, which in a text message that I've been meaning to respond to for weeks. Sorry, Deborah. She said, what did she say that had a nice ring to it? A Liz quiz. So Liz, if you ever come on again, we can do a Liz quiz. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Matt. Okay, Deb, are you ready?
Yeah.
Next voicemail.
Okay.
Hey, my darlings distractions. This is Miles R. from Sioux Falls, your number 2 fan. Here with Remy. In the background, your number 3 or 4 fan. I'm not calling with a correction or a question necessarily. I'm calling with a suggestion. Since Luke proclaimed on the internet, made an internet promise, one of the strongest promises that a person can make. The internet promised that he was going to start saying ought more instead of like 08 or the 2000s. He's going to say ought 8 or double ought. Things like this. He's, I believe he's mentioned a decade before, mentioned some years in that, and not held true to his promise of ought. And I think in order to really establish this habit, and I think I read this in a book somewhere, what he needs to do is you guys need to buy a bark collar, a shock collar. Deb will have the remote, and every time she catches Luke saying 2000 or 08, she gives him just a little bit of shockaroni. It's a nice little jolt to the larynx to help Luke teach himself to use this cool phrase that he's definitely going to make even cooler by using all the time.
Yeah.
He won't sound old at all, I promise.
Nope.
So that's my suggestion for you. Can't wait to hear about it on the podcast and hear how it goes, see how that training works. But there's psychology behind this, so I'll send you some links. It'll be fun. All right. Love the show. Can't wait to hear the results. I love you. Goodbye.
Bye, Remy.
Yeah, bye, Remy.
What do you think about that, Luke?
I need to step up my ought game if we're going to get a shot collar. You will notice that even this very episode, you have heard the use of the ought.
I have. I noticed it and I thought, boy, you're really pushing that hard.
I just need to think of more things that I can talk about that are related to the aughts. I think every time every time we get introduced in a group, I should say, and I'd like you to meet my lovely wife, Deb. We were married in 04.
My wife since 04.
Yeah, my wife of my wife since 04. And we have a daughter who was born in 09. Yep. And anytime I hear the college UNI, I can say, I'm a graduate of them. I graduated there in 05. I have my world is filled with possibilities.
You just need to volunteer more information.
I just need to
yourself.
volunteer more information about myself.
Yep.
That's what it is. All right. If we're talking about New Year's resolutions, mine is to volunteer more information about myself, specifically the aughts.
During the decade of the aughts.
Yes, specifically information that relates to my life during the aughts, which was an eventful decade.
Very eventful.
I mean, better than this last decade,
Luke,
am I right?
When did you go to Paris?
I went to Paris, and I'm guessing this would be 08.
08.
Yeah.
Is correct.
Yeah, I went to Paris in 08.
No, it's not.
Oh, no. Please don't shock me, Deb. Not again.
No, we haven't gotten the shot collar yet, but that's an option.
You hear that, human services? You can't come for Deb yet.
One friend told me one time that whenever she would be trying on clothes with her mom and it was like a bad choice, her mom would just say, "That's an option."
Oh, okay.
So I always remember that when it's like, you want to let them down easy.
Mm-hmm.
Miles, that's an option.
Yeah. Thank you, friend of the show, Miles. Second biggest fan. I don't know how we judge that. I mean, what's that based on?
We can't.
I mean, so here's the thing. I will say, if we want to base it off of voicemails that have come in.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, right now it's probably...
That's quantifiable.
It's probably Adam.
Adam, number one fan.
Adam, then Liz, then Miles. Yeah. That's my guess. All right. Speaking of voicemails, let's jump back into another voicemail. Thank you, Miles.
Hey, it is Benji. I'm a history nerd. The Titanic sank in April of 1912. I think one of you mentioned 1912 on the episode. But yeah, April 14th into the early morning hours of April 15th, 1912. And now I'm going to push my glasses back up onto my nose as they hurt. Okay, bye.
Hey, that was Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley.
Now we can say that we know Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
I think I was the one that said 1912.
Good for you.
I'm going to claim it.
I think I even mentioned this. So that was referencing during the Liz quiz we took.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. G.
Yeah.
This is not getting weird.
It's not getting any...
I appreciate that he called in to let us know, so now we can know for sure when it was.
Yep. I'm sure I will lock that information away. I was just saying this the other day, is once upon a time, history class used to be a lot of like, hey, make sure you really understand these dates. I remember like multiple choice, or not multiple choice, but matching quizzes of just dates and like events. And you just think about like, yes, I'm sure there was a reason for that, so that you wouldn't look like a fool when you were doing a podcast about Downton Abbey, I think is what that question was about. But anyway, I just think that's changed so much now that we have access to technology. Like I can literally just say out loud in our house, when did this happen? And there's a voice that magically answers my question within 2 seconds.
I know. And even like from the teaching standpoint, the standards and just things that the kids have to learn in social studies are so different.
Are they?
They've changed dramatically. There's nothing on there about they need to know the dates of this or that. It's about trends in society and culture and trends in history and those kind of things. But yeah, no more are they expecting you
to know dates.
So interesting. And also, Benji bringing up just like, he said it was like 1912, but like April 14th into 15th, I think he said. But that brings up the topic of Tragedy Week that I know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I do know what Tragedy Week is.
My brothers really like to talk about this.
It's kind of an odd topic, but yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, Tragedy Week?
I mean, it is, but it's so very interesting that there are a lot of things that happened during that week that we won't get into now, but that might be another topic that we can dive into.
Yeah,
maybe with
Tragedy Week.
Yeah, maybe with someone who really likes history.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So thanks, Benji, and you can push those glasses back up on your nose.
There we go. Okay, we are going to wrap up here. This is our last voicemail, Deb.
Oh, this has been really fun.
Yeah.
We've gotten other messages, I should start keeping track of the text messages.
You should. We could get Jeeves to read some of those if you need it.
Yep, I didn't do that this time.
Yep. Okay, last voicemail.
All right.
Hi, Luke and Deb. This is Micah and Sarah, your biggest fans in Thailand.
Biggest fans that happen to be in Thailand.
Maybe. We don't know. You're a global audience.
We're your biggest fans.
We are really big fans. It's 8 p.m. on New Year's Eve, and so I wanted to call and say, hey.
We wanted to call.
Yes.
You said I.
Oh, we wanted to call and say, hey, we're missing you guys, and hope you're having fun tonight.
Kind of. We hope you're not having too much fun, but a little bit of fun.
We hope you're missing us really bad.
Not super fun, but a little fun.
And I also wanted to make a comment about your Christian contemporary music episode a while back. I just wanted to say a big thank you for including PFR, because that was probably, besides worship music, it's probably my favorite band. If someone asked me, what is your favorite band ever? PFR. And Deb, I think you would like them, or maybe would have liked them in their time, because I've always thought they're kind of Beatlesque, only a little bit grungier. Anyway, thanks a lot for mentioning them.
Yeah, and we were discussing, this might be the first time in the better part of the decade, I think maybe the entire 2010s, that we will be without spending New Year's Eve with the Demarists. So that's kind of a big deal over here. But again, we hope you're having slight amount of fun, moderate fun. And we'll have maybe around the equal moderate fun level too.
Yeah. So drink a cup of kindness for all going time.
And sparkling grape juice. A cup of that too.
Okay, I love you guys.
Have a great New Year's Eve.
Bye.
Oh, man. Take me through a roller coaster of emotions
There's
there.
a lot going on there, Deb.
Yeah, I was laughing. I was crying. Thanks for calling in, Micah and Sarah, all the way over from Thailand.
Yes.
We had no fun.
Oh, see, now here's the thing. Someday, our lovely children are going to listen to this, and they're going to listen back, and they're going to be like, what year was that?
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this because we spent our New Year's Eve just as a family, which was nice. But
it was nice. And I kept reminding myself that these days will pass quickly. So that's what we did.
Deposits in the bank.
That's right. That's right.
So we gave each of the children an hour of the evening to kind of like say, we can do whatever you want to do for that hour, to kind of go through the evening hours. And so we played Minecraft all as a family for about an hour.
Yeah, and the most important thing about that was that Mom played too.
Mom usually doesn't play Minecraft, but she jumped in this time.
Yep.
We watched the movie The Aristocats for an hour.
Yeah, because something reminded me of it earlier in the day, and I said, have you guys ever seen that? And then, so our daughter insisted on watching it.
So we watched that. And then I think we ended with one of them wanted to play Jackbox games, which is a New Year's Eve tradition anyway. Jackbox is a great game to have on New Year's Eve. But the reality is, it's probably the first time in a decade where we haven't been with friends of the show, Mike and Sarah. If you want to hear more from Mike and Sarah, they were on our Survivor episode. So
we talked about their move to Thailand, and we just wish them well. We miss them so much, and that was really fun to hear from them. Really interesting what Sarah said about PFR.
Yeah.
I should give them a shot.
Yeah,
probably.
You should. Yeah, I agree. I think they're very Beatles-esque.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just because the instrumentation, they're always trying new instrumentations, and it's just just eclectic musical.
Yeah. Cool. I appreciate that comment. And we hope that you guys had fun, but not too much fun.
Right. Yeah, I will say so. Mike and Sarah are busy in Thailand helping children who are needy over there. So if you are at all interested in supporting them, get a hold of Deb and I through social, and we'll get you connected with them, because I'm sure they could use your support over in Thailand.
Yeah. So. Thanks for calling in, you guys.
Yes. All right. Well, Deb, that was a quick blast through some voicemails. It fills my heart to hear from all the people who listen, and thank you guys for listening. We've had a lot of fun, and we'll continue to have fun. And also, if you have more ideas, we could always use ideas, or if any guest hosts out there want to come on the show and run us through our paces on any topic, we would love to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you.
We're up for anything.
Yep. Once again, give us a call. 61 Air 0 Volt. 61 Air 0 Volt.
That's it. I'm just still thinking about Thailand friends. That's all that we have for tonight. Thanks for calling in, everyone. Here's to a lovely and prosperous 2020.
And only slightly distracted.
Good night.
Good night.